Hi, it's been a while. I have moved to Los Angeles. I've just been integrating from moving from Seattle and traveling all around the world, being in Thailand and enjoying myself, and taking kind of like a mini vacation to coming back to LA and hunkering down on my transition because bottom surgery is on the horizon and I have to get all of my electrolysis done and all my ducks aligned before I finish that. So, yeah, today's video is kind of going to be open ended. I have this kind of topic in mind, but it's a bit formless form. And I wanted to talk about this formless form that I'm thinking about. And by the way, I was just sick over the weekend, so I'm feeling a little self conscious about my voice, which is another video topic to cover. But for the moment, I'm just rolling with it. And despite me not liking where it's at, I'm just going for it because why not? Why not just throw yourself out there and just be how you are and showing up how you are? Because I just hit 30,000 subscribers, um, I've kind of felt. I've kind of felt like some performance anxiety. Like, what the fuck do I do, Ashley? Like, I have 30,000 subscribers. Am I supposed to be like a different fucking video maker? Like, I don't know. Like, have you ever like had this where you suddenly realize you did better than what you expected and now you feel like the stakes are greater, whether that's people just saying, "Oh my god, you did such a good job last time you did this." Now you're like, "Oh, now I'm being noticed. Now I have to kind of elevate my game." I have so much fucking performance anxiety. Like I'm not good at sports. I'm terrible at sports, and it's because all eyes are on you when you have the ball and you're doing something like trying to score a goal. Like I just can't. That's why I like just going to the gym or bicycling. There's no performance anxiety. But yeah, now I'm getting hot just talking about this. So hold on. But yeah, I guess the noodle that I wanted to noodle on noodling on noodles. The noodle that I wanted to noodle on and massage gently and have a good time with was was like this kind of so okay. Um, the topic is pursuing and working on the thing that brought this up for me was pursuing and working on projects that I have ideas that I want to do. I've spent a lot of time playing computer games, recently Helldivers 2, which is awesome. It's a great game, and I've kind of like asked people in the Discord to add me so I can play with them. But after kind of consuming enough media and games, I don't know if you get this, but you start to kind of lose a sense of groundedness in your reality, and at least for me. And I start to feel, and maybe you may feel this way, like a feeling of like you become kind of like this endless void where you can just kind of like keep consuming and consuming and consuming and nothing of it is satisfying. Like, do you have you gone that deep into the social media rabbit hole? The thing that brings this most to the forefront is like the shorts, TikTok, like Instagram reels, where you can just keep swiping and swiping and swiping and swiping. It's like a little dose, a little dose, a little dose, and then it just kind of starts to lose its meaning, and you're kind of stuck in this cycle of like chasing dopamine that doesn't ever fully release because you don't actually get anything meaningful out of it. It's just like short term. And so this has kind of been swelling as I've been recovering from months of travel and moving in and getting sorted. Now I'm at this place where I'm like, what is meaning? What is like my life? Like, what do I want to do? Like, I can't just play games and then just work on my surgery. And of course, I'm doing some other things like investment and stuff like that. I just invested in a psychedelics company in Thailand, and I just purchased a mobile home park in I can't say because there's not many mobile home parks out there, but it's in Oklahoma by a river, which is pretty cool. So I might fly out there at some point. If there's anyone in Oklahoma, let me know. But like like what is it? The thing that gives me life satisfaction, let me know how you feel about this, is like feeling like there's some sort of meaning to what you're doing or experiencing. And whether that's you feeling like you're on a path where you're devoted to your own personal meaning, or that you're creating meaning and helping others, and that's a meaningful thing. And for me, my creating a meaning and what is meaningful to me is helping others. It's what I do. It's what fulfills me. It makes me feel less guilty for existing. I have like this innate like soul level guilt in existing. And it's not like Christianity, Catholic, like you're guilty as soon as you're born because you're sin. It's like past life shame for the amount of pain that I've probably caused in previous lives, like through like killing or being, I don't know exactly. I know I was a warrior many times and I probably killed a lot of people in past lives. So I'm feeling some shame and guilt in terms of how I implemented myself last times. And this time it's like, okay, for the first time, you're going to get to have fun and you're going to get to do something. Anyways, I'm going like way off topic, but this is my first video. It's, you know, it's a warm up. It's been a while. So, when you get to a place of kind of like this endless void of just like nothing is filling me, the best place to kind of resolve, and let me know how you kind of do this, but this is how I do it, starting to search for meaning. And then finding that place that is meaningful to you and then starting to kind of climb back into that. So I've been starting to pull threads on, well, what's meaningful to me? Like maybe I could like make another video. Maybe I could build an AI tool to do this. Maybe I could make a short video or edit this thing, or maybe I can make a terrarium. Like I have all of these ideas that are floating around. But the second I get onto those ideas, I realize that there's like all of these things that need to be done. And then suddenly it becomes this large, insurmountable project that I really don't want to kick off because then I'm going to feel bad that I'm not implementing it or doing it correctly. Do you know what I mean? Like all of those projects you start with a lot of intent and excitement, and then you don't really get there. And this YouTube channel is kind of one of those projects that has just extended and gone beyond that threshold of like getting it off the ground. And now it's more like, how do I stay like in the marathon over the next 10 years? Because this is like such a long-term project for me. And this is the part that I want to get at. This is the formless form piece. The second these projects or feelings or ideas come to mind that are going to create meaning and happiness for me, a feeling of like, no, like don't do it comes up. And I don't know if you experience this. This might just be my own personal experience, but it's like laziness. And like, if I were to kind of take a step back from like, well, what's that feeling when I think, oh, like I should draw a picture, or, oh, like what if I made a terrarium? It's like, no. And I go, well, what's behind the no? And behind the no, because I stop, and this is a really good technique for you to work with yourself if you don't already know this, but it's called what I call catching. So as soon as you receive a signal from yourself, doing something that's of interest to you, and you've probably experienced it enough times to recognize that it exists within your psyche. And if you want to inspect it, you have to kind of like, when it speaks, you want to catch it. And then when you catch it, you visualize yourself catching it and going, where is that feeling within me? I'm catching that. You can then speak to it and you can say, okay, well, why are you saying this? Or what do you want to say? And you don't really want to be oppositional to this, because if you be oppositional, it can get defensive, which is just your subconscious being defensive against yourself, which is not going to help you. So I catch myself and I go with curiosity. That's the best way of approaching things, in my opinion, curiosity. So, because it's an open mind, right? Oh, well, why do you say no? Well, I'm lazy. Okay, so this is me having a conversation, right? So thinking project, no. Oh, catch. All right, well, why is that? Like, why are you saying no? Because I'm lazy. Well, why are you lazy? Because I don't want to do all of these things because I'm overwhelmed. Oh, well, why are you overwhelmed? Well, because I have bottom surgery coming up. I've just moved to a new city. I need to make new friends. I've got this other project with real estate. I've got my regular job and I'm learning all this new stuff. And I just want to relax and chill because I want to get myself ready. Oh, okay. Like, I understand that. But like, why can't we just have fun doing this? Why can't we just do something else and just make something without like all of these other things that need to be? Well, it stresses me out because if I have to do this project, then I have to do it right and I have to do it well, and then I have to commit. And like, if I'm not showing up in this way, I'm going to feel bad about doing it. Okay, I get that. Well, like, how might we be able to work together on this? Like, what do you need from me? Well, what I'd really like to know is that it's okay to just do something and just be with it and not have to care too much about how important it is or what it needs to be or what I need to do and what it needs to become. Oh, okay, now we're getting somewhere. That's interesting. Well, so then what if we just did a project with no expectations, with no requirements of what it could be, or if we had to keep doing it? What if we just did a project and we had no requirements on finishing it or anything like that? Oh, yeah, that sounds good. I could do something like that. Boom. So now I found the pathway of working with myself to work on this thing that I want to work on. How's my hair doing? So like, like this is a great technique for working with yourself in any kind of dimension. It's something I've used working through my transition, especially with accepting myself, which was along the lines of, and for those people who are trans, it's like, there's a lot of struggle with like acceptance and like allowing yourself to be the version that you want to be. And so like if you can catch that version of yourself that prevents you from being the version of yourself that you want to be, you can start talking to it and having a conversation. For me, the biggest thing was actually fear of exposing my true self to the rest of the world, even though I had already changed my name and I was dressing and et cetera, et cetera. There was just like, if I hide this part of myself to the rest of the world forever, then I can never truly be hurt because they never saw the part of me that could ever be hurt. Do you know what I mean? Like if they saw the child and they hurt the child, that would be death. But if I always hid the child under another layer and they hurt me, but it was the person with the layers on top, I could say, well, they didn't truly hurt the real me because they never saw that. Do you get what I'm saying? So, do you get what I'm laying down? Girl, you get what I'm saying? But so this is kind of like the thing, and when you arrive at these points, of clarity, there's a pinning that you have. So you go, okay, so this is what it is. So what I just did with the breakdown of my own experience is like, oh, this is what it is. You just need to feel comfortable. You need to feel like there's no expectations. You need to feel like there's no requirements, no follow-ups. It doesn't have to be perfect. And then you'll do a project, right? So half of me is like, hooray, we get to do projects because that's what we want. And the other half of me is like, yay, there's no expectations. No. See, that doesn't work either. This is the ever-evolving, ever-shifting self. And this is why it's so difficult to work with the self, because the self is not static. I mean, think of all the times that you've had these clear decisions or clear ideas of yourself and what you need to do, and then it's not working, and you're finding that yourself and working with yourself is a moving target, right? Like you feel like, oh, I'm going to work with myself in this way, and now after a few weeks, it's no longer working, and now I need to reshift and work with myself in another way, right? And so this is the fatal mistake of personal growth and growth mindset mentality that most of the world, the productized personal growth people have, which is they try to get to certainty because they're trying to sell you a solution and they need to make you feel like you're getting results. And the way they do that is they make something super tangible for you. You got your answer. Here's your answer. Post it on the board. And then that's your answer. You paid us $50,000 for this retreat. And there you go. That's it, right? Fuck, what a ripoff. But the real essence, and this is free, right? I should charge lots of money for it so people would actually take me seriously, but that's a later time. Right now, I'm too focused on building a business elsewhere, making a lot of money, and then I can do this for free or like lower costs or whatever. I can just keep doing this, right? But if you make the answer to the thing that you're trying to do too certain, too clear, and too concise, and you attach yourself to that, then you are going to miss the opportunity to actually solve and resolve the evolving self and the evolving problem. So like, how do you do that? Well, how do you answer, how do I work with my own or your own problem when dealing with this intangibility? And this is where the formless form comes in. So just to take a step back, for those of you that don't know what the formless form, everything takes a form, but before it takes a form, it is formless. The reason why that's important is because it exists before it is formed. Your ideas that are going to be created already exist in some innate capacity or energy. You just haven't shaped them into what it becomes or what you can recognize it as. It's like a person. When you first meet a person, you have a very clear idea of what that person is, but it's an idea. It's not actually true. And as you get to know someone, you're starting to match your projections and expectations of what you think they are to what they say and who they reveal themselves to be. And so they're formed, as in they are a person, but they are not actually formed because it's not actually matching reality. So in a way, they're formless. A lot of them is formless, and it starts to take more and more form as you get to know them. Now, people are not static, so it's a constant shift and a constant ebb and flow. And it's why working with humans is so fucking hard, because we keep evolving and changing and shifting, and we have all these chemicals in our brains, et cetera, et cetera. So winding it back to you and your thoughts and like coming to these ultimate answers that can actually help you evolve and work with the evolving self, so you don't get stuck in these like cycles of just being like, well, I thought I solved this, but it's not solved. I thought I solved this, but it's not solved. I thought I solved this, but it's not solved. The thing is it cannot be solved. And any attachment to the idea that it can be solved is an illusion. And it's kind of like, it's the antithesis of like Taoism and Buddhism. It's like the stronger you hold on to something, the easier it is for it to disappear, or the stronger you hold on to something, the harder it is to hold on to it, I suppose. So you kind of let this idea or resolution, I'm letting this idea of what I need in order to do something, but I don't know if it is what I need forever and it is the ultimate solution. But for right now, the solution is clear. I need less expectation, less attachment, less this. I do this and I do this and I do this and I do this and I have to have success and do this and this and this. Less of that is going to help me make this video, to work on a project, to do something of meaning. But not close my mind to it, to not focus my mind on it and say, check, done, next, but to say, no. That solution is temporary and I cannot check this problem off as a solved thing. It is just an evolving thing that I continue to allow holding of without squeezing and grasping it with certainty. It's here, it's present, I am with it, but it is not certain. It is not forever. And it's kind of like life. It's kind of like you. It's kind of like me. It's kind of all the people in the world around you. I mean, none of this is certain. This is all temporary. This is all kind of moving and shifting, and a lot of trust, and a lot of what we want is we want certainty so that we can grasp, right? So we can feel safe that there is some clarity. But if you cannot see what reality is, what is actually reality right now, what is the real reality, then you're making a fatal mistake, which is you're going to start building a mental model off of a world that it doesn't exist because you're not looking at reality. It's not matching anymore. And this is, you see this all the time with all this social media that goes off in all these directions where it's like, what the fuck are they thinking now? Like, what is going on? People are way detached from reality, right? And even this is kind of like this weird abstract reality thing that I'm talking about, but it's rooted in the idea of real reality, like real reality. Like, take LSD with me and let's talk about fucking reality. You know what I mean? Like, this is real reality. The unfolding of it and then the refolding of it. So that's just what I'm thinking about. That's what I'm going through. It's been a while. I wanted to touch base, say hello, make a video, get connected, talk about something meaningful, and we'll see where things go. I'll probably make a couple more videos. I'm not going to post this for a while because I just need time to process. I'm not like, I don't want to make a video and then upload it immediately and then post it and then get into the old patterns of the ways that I used to be, because that's something that I'm healing from. That's something that I'm letting go. And this is a practice, and maybe something for you to think about is when you have these longer term projects, you can get stuck into rhythms that are no longer helpful and refreshing and are actually draining and burning you out of like your own process and your own flow. So how can you reapproach something that's so familiar with a new way of approaching it? So that's the question I want you to leave with. And this is the formless form. It's like, how do you take yourself to something familiar in an unfamiliar way? How do you hold this new thing, this old thing, in a new way? How do you grasp something that's not graspable? And how do you hear something when you can't hear it? Oh man. When I was on mushrooms in Costa Rica, there was a waterfall, and there were monkeys, and I was in the jungle, and it was just me and my friend, and the sound of the jungle, when you like listen and there's no man-made anything anywhere, like you can hear the sound of life. It's not like an audible sound. It's like, it's a feeling, the sound of the forest. You know that song, The Sound of Silence? That's the sound. Like a deep, ever-present silence. And maybe that's the sound of Mother Earth, or the nature, or just like an earth frequency or something. But we are wired in a way that's so primal that we're detached from, that we are not connected to on a day-to-day basis, that we've lost touch with. And I think we have the sensors to do it. You just need something to kick it up a notch, to open your perception field a little bit, to relearn and pull on some of these tools that you've left in the tool shed and discarded and never kind of saw as valuable, because we have this automated filter system, you know? So taking mushrooms for me has actually really helped me kind of expand this peripheral view of reality in the tool set. I'm not saying like all of y'all should be doing mushrooms, but I mean, think about like how different this world would be if we just had people more willingly exploring reality and kind of opening themselves up. And you're probably one of those explorers yourself, going through whatever you're exploring. But the thing you're exploring, whether it's your transition, which you spend, you know, every day, every week, every month on, or it's, you know, your project that you're doing, or your work, or your job, or your relationship, oh man, this is probably really good for your relationship. Just like, how do you approach something familiar in a new way? How do you evolve? Because your partner evolves. If you're with someone for 5 years, if you're with someone for a few years, they're a different person on some level. And you got to see them in a new way and be willing to approach them in a new way as they evolve and shift and shape, right? That's like really showing up for your partner and all that. I mean, I could just go off on this for days and I should do a lecture at some point, but food for thought, things to think about, things to love yourself with, to experience life more, to see things in new ways. I love you. It's so nice to see you. It's been a long time. Hugs. I'll see you in another episode soon. Please share this with friends. Please like this. Please subscribe if you're new here. And if you want to support me so I can buy camera equipment and I can hire editors and stuff like that, please join my YouTube channel. Thank you. Bye.